You know,
go.
one of these days, I just realized I didn't have my awesome professional uh, sunglasses on. No wonder the show started off terrible and we couldn't pronounce Yingling. Uh, but I got to get my daughters down here one of these times and just run the board over there uh, for me. But anyways, how you doing tonight, Mr. Romero?
Yeah, very well. How about yourself?
I'm not bad. I'm trying to stay sane. I have three daughters, and this pandemic is starting to take its toll.
Yeah.
I've stopped shaving. I've noticed my beard is all gray. But that's all right. It's the way it is. As
Do you
Savage would say.
is your daughters go? Are they schooling at home now, or are they going back? I know some schools are going back.
Yeah,
Some aren't.
it's well, they are going back. I have an 11-year-old, a 7 going on 8, and a 3-year-old.
Oh wow.
The 11-year-old is going to go 2 days on, 2 days off, and then on again. So 3 days a week.
Wow. Okay.
The 7-year-old, she'll be in second grade. She has the option of either being homeschooled for 5 days or in the school for 5 days, and that's it. We have to choose one of those options,
Wow.
and we can we can reevaluate every semester, whatever, and pull her out if we want, or put her back in if we want. And then my 3-year-old, she goes to preschool and whatnot, but she works at my school. I work at a school for children with autism, but it's integrated,
Oh, cool. Okay.
and we are not gonna send her because we're just not comfortable. So
Hmm.
with her staying home and my oldest daughter being home 2 of the 5 days of the week, and then my middle kid who hasn't technically decided what she wants, she has a lot of anxiety issues. So
Okay.
we're trying to figure that out. So
Right.
with all of that being said, I will be home again, homeschooling them. Uh,
Mm.
it's basically what I do for a job, anyways, because I work in that school. I
Right.
work with kids' behaviors, so it's just I
It's a
won't be
it's a
getting
rough
paid.
it's a rough time, man.
Yeah,
It's definitely a rough time,
yeah,
and I feel for I don't have any kids of my own, but I feel for the parents who are going through this because with work and regular life that goes
yeah,
along with this and this pandemic on top of it. I mean it's really challenging for a lot of families and a lot of parents, and my heart goes out to them because at least, thank God that at least you're home,
yep,
in that sense, but you're also taking care of three
yeah,
girls. I mean, that's, who are all need schooling, and you're having your job as well. I mean, that's tough. That's
yeah.
really rough.
And my wife works from home, and her job, she's working from home, but she has to
Mm,
actually like be secluded. She's on phone calls.
gotcha.
She works for the a veterans hospital. She's a pharmacist, and
Okay.
so there's a lot of phone calls back and forth. And the kids just the youngest mostly, but it is tough. It is tough, but we're all finding ways to survive, uh, get through it. How have you been getting by during COVID? I mean, you got shut down around March and everything. What have you done?
Yeah. In the beginning, I was hopeful, like everybody else, that this wasn't going to last too long, and we were going to be in it, in and out in, maybe 3 months or so.
Yeah,
And right about, about the 2 month mark, it was like, okay, things are probably going to
yeah,
go on a little longer. Kind of realized that. So then I just started to relax a little bit,
yeah,
like I started, once I realized that, it was likely we weren't going to be back in Japan anytime soon. Then I started to, take it easy. I started to eat cookies and enjoy my life a little bit, and start eating and a little bit less working out. And then it kind of went through, and then here we are. We had the opportunity with New Japan to start, playing around and taping a new series called Lions Break Collision that we did four
yeah,
weeks of, and that was great to kind of get out of just the every day of
yep,
just waking up and you're in the house. So we did all the protocols, got all that done, and and it was smooth sailing. And then now, we moved on to New Japan Strong, which is every Friday night at NJPWworld.com. And yeah, now we're in that. And, currently I'm right here and I'm actually in Baltimore. We're doing some tapings for Ring of Honor. They're bringing back their Pure title and I'm in their tournament. And yeah, so, that this has been a really great experience. It's been really safe for everybody involved. And, I'm really excited to get back to, doing what I love.
Excellent. Now you mentioned New Japan, and that's where I learned from you. I mean, you went over there at the age of 20, I believe, and one of the greatest things I heard today, and I didn't know this because I knew you from the tag team division with what's the Beretta. You know,
Hmm.
you're over there. You're a tag team guy for the longest time. But I found out today you were the fourth Black Tiger,
Correct.
which I was blown away. There's two things that I found out when I was researching you that blew me away. One was you were the fourth Black Tiger. Uh, go did you go ahead? You want to say something about that?
Yeah, yeah. I mean, look at the
Yeah,
list of people
yeah,
that
yep,
preceded me. Mark Rollerball Rocco, who
yep.
recently
We
just
just passed.
passed, but
Yeah,
one of fantastic wrestlers. Truly changed the game with his matchups against Tiger Mask. Just like Dynamite Kid did
yeah.
with the original Tiger Mask, and as well as like in the UK scene as well in the world of sport. And then you've got Eddie Guerrero coming in number two,
Yeah,
and obviously just a legend,
yeah,
and one of my personal favorite wrestlers of all time, and Silver King, who's another fantastic wrestler who did it all, worked with everybody at a high level, and he was a good friend of mine. Unfortunately, he passed away
yeah.
too. So, but yeah, I mean, to be in that kind of lineage and around, with the top of the top. I mean, just to have that opportunity, I was ecstatic as a young man. I was like
Yeah.
24, 25 or something like that. And maybe 26. And, just getting the opportunity to do that. I mean, it was life changing, completely life changing. When they said, do you want to be Black Tiger? I was like,
Hell yeah.
are you sure? Me? Are you sure? Want some other guy like, Brian Danielson or somebody
Yeah.
who's really good? Uh, so it was just pretty crazy, and it completely changed my life. And I'm fortunate, and I've been with New Japan for so many
Yep.
years, and on and off in the early days, bit, and then really settled in since 2011. And I couldn't, it'd be hard to ever leave New Japan. I just love the company so much. I love the product. I still get excited for everything that we're doing. So it doesn't feel like a job. It really is just the perfect place, workplace for me.
Um, it does seem great, and now you do a lot of commentary. You're managing, uh, you do the music and all the look, but New Japan's trying to go global with New Japan US, and what is your part to play in that role?
I mean, as a wrestler, first and
Yeah,
foremost, and then, I am involved with the dojo. Basically, it's Shibata's dojo. He's in charge of the training and and the young lions, and but I try to help out wherever I can. I had some great experience with the first LA dojo back in 2002, and kind of saw some things that went wrong and mistakes that were made, and some things that were good and bad. So like, I've been trying to to be helpful and supportive for the LA office, and as well as Shibata, just with anything that they might need. So I'm kind of like all over the place with that. Whatever I can help in kind of um, expertise or
yeah,
whatever. And just connections. I think a lot of stuff gets brought to me. I'm kind of become the ambassador, to New Japan Pro Wrestling in the U.S. in a way. So a lot of stuff comes across my table. I've got a lot of connections from over the years. So I try to just kind of help out and play the game of connecting certain things and certain people, and helping with some of the new wrestlers that might join. Them if they're going to join the Chaos or New Japan side, then I try to help out where I can. Yeah.
And you just mentioned, chaos, and I know that you're great friends with Gallows and Anderson from the Bullet Club. We'll get to talking shop later. New Japan likes to they respect their wrestling, and they like to keep things kayfabe and all that fun stuff that I enjoy as a fan. Is it challenging to be friends with them and keep the Bullet Club and the faction you're in separate?
Well, right now they're not a part of any faction.
Well,
so really it's not an
oh,
issue.
Gallows and Anderson.
Yeah.
Well, they were
part of any faction.
Well, they were never. I think Thomas said they were never out. Blood in. They were never blood out.
But they're not in New Japan right now, so
that's true. Yeah.
you know what I'm saying. So I feel like right now it's definitely not an issue if they were to come back to New Japan, which hopefully they will. And if they're the Bullet Club, it may become a problem for Talking Shop and the three of us in some kind of way, obviously. But I feel like we got to cross that bridge when it happens. Because so many things could happen, and right now, with the borders being closed, I mean, who really knows when that'll happen? It could be 3 months, 6 months. 8 months, who knows? So it's really hard to tell right now. So so I'm just I'm enjoying the time that I'm being able to to work with my friends. Two guys that are really good friends of mine, and I just kind of leave it at that. Like leave the personal stuff there, leave the business stuff, especially when it comes to New Japan, kind of separate. And we'll see what happens. I mean, there's very well a good chance that maybe the three men of Talking Shop won't exist. I don't really know. It's too early to say.
And see, I was under the assumption, and shame on me, because I thought I'd heard part of their deal was with Impact was that they were gonna do New Japan dates, which they haven't yet, so I do get that. But I want to go to Talking Shop because we had the good brother Doc on here right before the show, and we watched it here live. And it was exactly like Doc said, the worst pay-per-view I was ever going to see. And I mean that in every sense of the word. How does a pay-per-view of that manner come about? And did it only come about because of the pandemic, or when they got let go from the WWE, it was around the same. Yeah, it was about the same time. Was he going to do it anyways, or how does that Talk Shop Mania come about?
I mean, really, the guys got let go because of the pandemic, basically, right? So, however you want to break it down of how that all went through, like there's so many ways you can break it down.
He's probably had it in his head forever to do.
We shouldn't get into maybe like why or how WWE did it, but I think that it was just a spark of kind of creative genius that came to him. I think because of the situation, probably the things wouldn't happen if they wouldn't have got let go. If there wasn't a pandemic, I don't know if exactly if he would have had the time or the energy to do it, because obviously he would have been probably with WWE, right?
Yeah.
So I feel like it was just an opportunity that presented itself because of the current state of professional wrestling and the current state of like, here's an opportunity where it's really difficult for people to make content. So how can we do that? How can we do it in a safe way? And then how can we do something that's completely different? Because, basically almost everything is shut down right now. So, and I think out of that, kind of when you're put, back against the wall and you have to make some kind of decisions, I think that, Gallows came up with the idea and, like I don't know if he told you, but he basically told us, me and Carl, like, he called us and was like, I'm doing this pay-per-view from my backyard. You guys are either in or out.
Yeah, that's what he said.
What pay-per-view? What are you talking about? He's like, Talking Shop, a Talking Shop pay-per-view. He's like, and we started like giggling and we're like a Talking Shop of Mania. He's like, Talking Shop of Mania. I was like,
brother.
right. Yeah. So we're like, okay, you know, if we can figure out how to do it. I mean, and then, you know, that was kind of like in the early days of the pandemic. So
Yep.
it almost seemed like we were going to be out right at the probably, you know, so we had scheduled it right around the time that it seemed like things were going to be very relaxed. And then all of a sudden, you know, when, you know, basically the day that I landed on the, in Georgia and on this property, or like a week or so before it, you know, we had thought about like, are we going to be able to do this, you know, because things started to shut down again.
Yeah.
And so it kind of got a little close to the wire. And me and Carl were both like, we had invested so much time and money into it, and it's just like, I don't know if we can even do this. And but you know, we came up with a great, you know, protocol that kept everybody safe. And
Yeah.
you know, we were very open with everybody. And you know, thank God that Gallows' wife is as a registered nurse, so
Yeah,
she
that's what
was
he
able
said.
to, you know, to be on hand and you know, and take temperatures, not, you know, temperature checks. You know, some people were able to do testing. So you know, we tried to do the best that we can, and we try to keep everybody safe. And you know, thank God we were able to. So so yeah, I mean, I'm pretty happy with how it turned out. It was by far the worst piece of crap of all time, but pretty entertaining.
Now, is it true that uh it almost didn't happen? Like Doc almost Doc almost forgot about it. Did he fall asleep and it almost didn't go down?
Yeah, first day was rough. You know, I mean, first of all, the first day we had like an 80% chance of rain or
Oh
something,
my goodness.
50% chance of rain. So it started raining a bit. And, you know, so that was the first hurdle. And then, you know, so I arrive and me and Carl are like, okay, so where's the big man? The big man was nowhere to be found, of course. And we were like, what? Where is he? Where is he? He's like, he's still sleeping. I'm like, are you gonna wake him up? He's like, I'm not waking him up. You know. So, so finally, I think we talked to his wife, and his wife was like, I've been trying to wake him up. So basically, she's like trying to wake him up. And you know, we find out later that, and he goes, she tells him, hey, you know, Rocky and Carl are downstairs. Everybody's ready to go. The crew is here. And he's like, the crew. He's like, why is Rocky and Carl here? She's like, for the pay per view that you booked in our backyard. And yeah, so then, you know, he was like, oh shit, that's today, you know. So
Yeah.
he ran down and we finally made it happen. And,
Yeah.
you know, in all its glory, you know, you saw the result of it.
I did. It was great. And this leads right into the other thing that I found out today that I was extremely shocked about. And shame on me. Uh, there was a luchador at Talking Shop Mania. El Chico, El Luchador. What's his name? El.
Chico El Luchador,
Yeah, him.
greatest,
Greatest
greatest,
wrestler ever, right?
yeah, of all time.
And I
My hero.
yeah, and I didn't know anything about him.
Wow.
And it's so funny because I was gonna reach out to him. I was gonna have Vanessa reach out to him and see if we could get him on the show.
He didn't charge you too
Yeah,
much,
that's
man.
what that's what I've heard through the grapevine. But he had a great performance there. I thought it was extremely unique too with Doc, with Gallows and Anderson. That the last time I mean, it wasn't not great, but the last time we saw him was at the Boneyard match, and then the next time we see him was at the Boner match. That can
Boneyard
continue.
match.
Yeah, the
Boneyard
Boneyard.
match. Yeah.
Thank you very much. What did I say? The Boner
Important.
match. Yeah, that's a different.
That's completely different
That's
thing.
a totally different show.
It's a different match.
It is a different match, and I thought that because in wrestling, you know, being keeping continuity is perfect. Has Doc contacted you already about Talking Shop Mania too?
Yeah, there's been a lot of chatter between the three of us, you know. So basically, we're at the point where like I'm kind of indifferent. If we do it, we do it. Carl is completely against it at this point, and Gallows is, I think, secretly planning
I'm
and
sure
plotting.
he's already booked in it.
So yeah, so
How
we'll
do you
see.
top the original?
That's a
I
good
know
point.
that's the, you know, it's either one of, you know, it goes one or two ways. It's either going to be the greatest sequel of all time, or it's going to be a complete flop. You know, it's either going to be like Back to the Future 2, or like what's a terrible. Most sequels are just terrible, right? So I
Yeah.
have no idea how it's going to go. We'll see. We'll see. The good thing is that there's plenty of stuff you know, a lot of the companies make it pretty easy to give us material to kind of have fun with and spoof. So
Yeah.
um, we just got to keep our our eyes and ears open and record plenty of wrestling during the week, and I think we'll be fine.
Yeah, don't let Doc know, because that'll be the tagline, the worst sequel ever. He'll do that. But
I just
I,
want a blooper reel. Give me a blooper reel.
I know everybody's been asking for the blooper reel. To be honest, I think we use the best stuff, though. I mean, really. I mean,
right, like it's the worst
everything
papers ever.
happens so fast.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, because that's a good thing about the Talking Shop and Mania style is obviously the bloopers are part of it, and it's that's the best shots. So they're most of them are in there.
My favorite thing about this, when I heard about it, I was like, this is solid gold. Like this is something I want to see. This is something I need right now in
Yeah.
in what we're going through, and I loved it. But it opened my eyes to the Talk and Shop podcast. Like I didn't know anything about this. So I went back, I learned about it. I mean, you three guys uh just basically sitting around, drinking Talk and Shop beers and just hit and record. How did the actual podcast get off the ground?
We're kind of like early to the game a
Yeah.
little bit, so like really there wasn't a lot of professional wrestling podcasts at the time. And or at least like it wasn't as popular or as the market wasn't as saturated as
Yeah.
it is now. So we Carl and I had a conversation. This actually was Carl's brainchild, and he was like, we should start a podcast, and this was, the early days of Bullet Club, right? So at this time, New Japan wasn't really like, really in the U.S. and kind of had that like Western, push, So I feel like, so we were able to kind of like come up with the idea, and I was of course in Chaos. He was in Bullet Club, so it was just supposed to be the podcast between me and him.
Mm-hmm.
And then our first guest was going to be Gallows. So
Oh
we
boy.
brought in Gallows, and we started recording, and then we quickly realized that, well, Gallows is the gimmick.
Yeah.
So like
He's
so
the money
we
maker.
actually we're gonna need Gallows. So we're like, okay, so we completely revamped the idea, and we had so much fun doing the first episode that we just kind of we figured we had gold, and at that time we were doing really good numbers for being a really just a small podcast in a world where podcasts wrestling podcasts hadn't really completely taken off.
Yeah.
It was really kind of like a wild west, and it was really underdeveloped at that time. So we partnered with MLW Radio, who kind of helped us out and gave us the platform.
Awesome.
And then fast forward to we I think we did it for about a year or so, and then it just became too much.
Yeah.
Just doing podcast every week. Got it was just like basically nobody really wanted to do it anymore. So I'd be like, we need to do we need to record, or you guys need to send me something, because I was the one editing and putting it all together. And then finally I was just like, I'm not doing it anymore. And they're like, thank God, because none of us want to do it anymore. So and then of course the guys went to WWE.
Yeah.
And everybody's lives kind of changed. So so that was it. And we thought we'd never do it again, but there was always like a group of people who would always contact us and be like, oh, you guys need to bring back the podcast. You need to bring back the podcast. And then when the guys were in WWE and they met Chris Jericho, they did Talk and Shop on Talk is Jericho.
Yeah.
And that kind of completely changed the game, because everybody was able to go back and look for some of the old episodes, and it kind of just put Talk and Shop on the map, because like there were huge episodes for Jericho and Talk is Jericho. So everybody was just kind of waiting, and we were kind of just waiting too, like, when we do this podcast and we do bring it back, it's going to be a big deal. And it just took many years, but the opportunity, I think like 4 or 5 weeks before the guys got let go, we had just started the podcast. So the week of when the guys got let go, I mean, we went to number one in sports, We went to, we were like number 37 on Apple all-time podcast. We're like behind Conan O'Brien.
Wow.
So like, yeah, so we really hit some big numbers right off the bat, and kind of everything happens for a reason, and the podcast has just grown every single week, just leaps and bounds.
Yeah.
It's pretty crazy, and and we're just kind of, we couldn't be more grateful. We have a great Patreon that really helps us out and kind of fuels it and keeps it going, because otherwise everybody's already like, we have to record. But we do have so much fun, and what's cool is we're actually all really close. So to be able to talk to your best friends for an hour every week and catch up, I mean, that's really what it's all about. And everybody's lives are in different, we're on 3 different parts of the US. Everybody's, like, the trajectories are so different. I'm working in New Japan. These guys are working, finding their way through Impact, and, this really exciting time for everybody. We're doing Talking Shop Mania, and we're creating content during this crazy time in the world, and trying to bring smiles, to people's faces. And really, that's what Talking Shop Mania ended up being. It was like, let's make people laugh. Let's make people laugh, because things are bad right now, all over for so many people. It's like, let's do it and let's have fun with it. And, here's a great opportunity to just, have a good time. And, that's important too, right? So, so I feel really accomplished in that part. And, we didn't expect for the reaction to be what it was, like, at all. Like, it was really humbling. And just to see everybody, like, to go through the numbers, we hit like number 3 or 4, like, in the US on Twitter. And I mean, we just couldn't believe it. We're all texting each other like, what is going on?
What is happening?
This piece of trash that we made is trending right now. It's like number 7 in the world or something. Like, what is going on with our? So, just really grateful for, for everybody who's watching and supported it. And it's pretty crazy, because, like, even still, what are we, like 3 weeks since it aired, the first night. And people are still going, still discovering it and talking about it and tweeting about it, and be like, I just watched it for the 3rd time. I just watched it for the 4th time. I saw a tweet today from one of our good friends, Karen, and she said, I just watched Talking Shop for the 3rd time because I just had a bad day and I wanted to laugh. It's like, this is crazy, so it's kind of become this crazy cult classic. And I don't know, if we decide to do it again, we'll see, we'll see what happens,
It's hard to top that.
The next one.
It's the one-liners too. Someone in the chat said, "Oh no, not another chair shot."
I'm gonna burn you. No, don't burn me. Yeah, there's so many great stuff.
It's hard to catch lightning twice.
Yeah.
Was Caddyshack 2 better than Caddyshack? I don't know.
I don't know.
It's tough.
I'm gonna have to, like, now I'm definitely feeling the pressure. Everybody keeps talking about it. But so maybe it's a thing that we won't rush, but we won't wait too long, because I've noticed that most sequels, when they wait too long, they lose their audience. So I feel like we got to be strategic on that.
But Doc said, when we had Doc on here, he's like, don't go in, like, this is supposed to be fun. This is supposed to be, a wink and a nod and all that stuff. And it was exactly what he said. It was exactly the way he portrayed it to us on the show.
Right.
And I couldn't have been happier, man. I had a headache. I was smiling and laughing so hard. So
Same.
It was great. So you guys should definitely be proud of that.
Thank you.
But let's get to where we are now. Wrestling's starting to open up a little bit here and there. Places are coming back. Ring of Honor, like you said, their Pure tournament, which you're in. I think it's 16 of the top competitors. I think 16, right, Vanessa?
I believe so.
Yeah, 16, and they announced 10 of them. And so I look forward to that. The tapings are going on now, but we'll be able to see it when?
You know what? I'm not really sure what the
Yeah.
air date is. I'm not sure if they've announced that just yet, but
I tried to find out. I
pretty
couldn't.
sure it's very soon. Yeah.
Yeah, I want to say it's like mid-September, but don't quote me on it.
Yeah.
Um, and what
Sorry,
else?
it's 10.
10, 10 people. Oh, even more
That's
intense, more exclusive. So
that was just updated as of 2 days ago.
Oh, so there might be more if it's 10 because
I
it'd have
think
to probably be 8 or 16.
yeah,
I
I think it
think.
was 10. I think they announced 10, but there's going to be
Okay.
16. So there's like 16 people
Right.
that we don't know, which will
Yeah.
make
To
it.
be honest, we
Yeah.
haven't got all the information
Yeah.
either, and it's kind of we've been seeing people around like, oh, you're in this. Oh, who's who?
Oh,
Like
there you go.
so. So yeah. So but I'm excited for it. I think Ring of Honor coming back with the pure title is really smart on their end.
Yeah.
Um, I'm excited because a lot of things have changed, and I think people would be excited to watch ROH come back, and I applaud them for taking the time to really make sure that things were going to be safe for the
Hmm.
wrestlers and the staff, and they've done an exceptional job with that, and they didn't rush back, which was extremely important,
Yes.
and so and still they've taken care of all
Yep.
their talent. They paid for like you hear really great stories about like oh, I was booked for Ring of Honor in May, and some they still paid me, and they like all these great independent wrestlers that still were taken care of by Ring of Honor. So you really got to applaud them for that.
Yeah. We had um we had both members of the bouncers on from Ring of Honor, and they said the same thing, man. Very professional. They got paid for all the dates that they had, and I mean that's the way to go. You gotta. I mean that's what
It's
they had to
huge.
do. So yeah, much love to
That's
them.
huge. Yeah, definitely.
Um, we got New Japan US. We mentioned it a little bit earlier. What's the end game? What's the goal? What does New Japan US want to do? Coming up, hopefully in 2021 when we can get back into things. What's their main goal?
I think just I mean, really, it's just growing the brand of New Japan,
Yeah,
worldwide. Um, last year was a big year. We were able to go to the UK. We were able to do MSG with Ring of
yeah,
Honor, and had some really big successes. And so I think 2021 will just be a continuation of that. Obviously, we've got the New Japan Strong show every Friday night, 7 p.m. Pacific to 10 p.m. Eastern. And that comes out on NJPWWorld.com, their streaming service. And it's been a really exciting show. For me, it's really the best pure wrestling show on any platform right now. So a lot of this, which has been cool is like I think because New Japan didn't rush back the same way that Ring of Honor did. It was able, they were able to see like some of the mistakes
yeah,
that some of the companies made, and kind of see like what was good and what was bad. So like I said, I think that kind of pure wrestling is probably better. That translates to having no fans at the moment, than anything else. So I feel like it's kind of like more like UFC. Shows more like a UFC branded show where you feel like you can hear the punches and the kicks, you can hear the guys talking crap to each other, and it's really grounded as opposed to some things that just kind of don't really work that great.
yeah.
You know, during with no fans or little to no fans, or whatever trainees or wrestlers, whatever it is. Um, so, it's all a learning game,
Yeah.
but I'm excited about the show because obviously that's like maybe the next step to having something, maybe back on TV at
Yeah.
some point on Friday nights or whatever night it is. And, I think New Japan of America will continue to grow into 2021. And I think that, they just kind of had to, kind of, just slightly make some changes,
Yeah.
and
Just pump the
they
brakes.
adapted.
Yeah.
Yeah, they adapted pretty well, and I think the show is a testament. I mean, it's kind of one of those things where I think it's going to be like an extremely like critically acclaimed type of show. Some fans won't get into it, and that's fine. It's definitely not going to be for everybody, but I think for most fans, especially New Japan fans, they'll enjoy it.
Excellent. It's been a pleasure to have you on tonight, Rocky. I mean, you're very you speak very well. You have great stories. I feel we could have gone on all night just on a lot of things, and I appreciate your time. I'm not going to keep you all night, but we are at the end of the show. What I usually do at the end of the show is I'm going to give you a mic, and you can put over anything you want. You can say anything you want. Plug anything you want, bury anything you want. I will not interrupt you. The floor is yours.
Like I said, NJPW strong tomorrow night. It's the finals of the New Japan Cup. The debut of myself, debut of Jay White as well. And it's tomorrow night, 7 p.m. Pacific, 10 p.m. Eastern. Talking Shop Mania is still available on pay-per-view. I think it's for like 7 more days or something like that. Don't quote me. And but you can also find it on Fight TV. If you buy it on Fight, you'll be able to keep it forever. So that's a great place. You can rewatch it as many times as you like. And then we've got our podcast comes out every Sunday morning. It's called Talking Shop with Gallows and Anderson and myself. Just 3 best friends drinking beer, talking crap, having a good time. Talking about our personal lives, talking about, the wrestling business, stories. I mean, it goes all over the place. We usually have some pretty good guests that'll stop in. And then patreon.com/Talking Shop. That's where you can find even more Talking Shop content. We've got extra bonus shows that we put up every week. We've got a new series that Sex Ferguson is putting together, aka Gallows. It's like kind of a spoof on Raw Underground, so you should probably check that out. There's going to be some really funny stuff that drops on that. And then, you can find me on Twitter. Find me on Instagram at AzukaRock, AZUCARROC. Support ProWrestlingTees.com/Rocky Romero. And of course, my own personal site, RockyRomeroMerch.com, where you can get all kinds of great stuff.
Excellent. It's been a pleasure. And, we'll talk to you soon, man. Thanks for giving us your time tonight.
Thank you so much. Have a great one. Appreciate you. And good luck with the with the kids.
Thanks, man. Have a good night.
Have a good one. Bye-bye.
Bye. Oh, it was great.
This guy's called the Standing Streamer. The champ is here!